In insensitive news, submitted by Arenita Ramirez. People are furious over a children's book about happy slaves baking a cake.
It's a children's book?
Is it old?
Brand new book by Scholastic.
Scholastic?
Wow.
The one with the little red label on the side?
That
Yeah.
shit's like the
Books.
yeah, books of all books, elementary books.
Yeah.
Y'all remember they used to get that fucking book club, that Scholastic shit? I fucking love
What
that.
was that shit made out of?
Newspaper.
If you smear it enough, you could smear all of it too. It's like a Japanese napkin.
Yeah, so this book is called A Birthday Cake for George Washington. And the story is about George Washington's chef, Hercules, and his daughter, Delia. They are baking a special cake for George Washington's birthday, and in the book, they're depicted as like very happy slaves, you know, baking this cake for their master.
Wait, how do they know they're slaves? Do they have like chains on their neck and shit, and they're like in ragtag like pants?
Or is it like inferred since they're black that they think historically they would have been slaves?
The book's description reads, no matter how delicious the president's cake turns out to be, Delia and Papa will not taste the sweetness of freedom.
Oh my god!
What's wrong with that though?
But what is the purpose of this book?
Isn't it to teach children about slavery?
Yes, but the reason why this book got so much backlash is because,
It's too real.
no, because they're showing these slaves as being happy.
I think they wanted to make it cute.
They're shown to be happy, but the text says they'll never taste freedom. That's the irony, probably.
Yeah,
Right?
like I can see that. Like I don't think
I gotta see the book for
I
myself.
don't think the person who made this book was thinking, well, slaves were obviously happy. No, it's a children's book, so they're putting that's the juxtaposition.
People don't know how to perceive art a certain, like they just see the literal and they go, well, slavery's already a taboo subject, and then people who are overly sensitive might want that erased completely out of the history books.
Yeah, it's a children's book that's actually talking about real shit. You know, so I would expect them to do it like that. I wouldn't have a slave, you know?
A grumpy slave?
So, a statement from Scholastic says, Scholastic has a long history of explaining complex and controversial issues to children at all ages and grade levels. We do not believe this title meets the standards of appropriate presentation of information to younger children despite the positive intentions and beliefs of the author, editor, and illustrator. So they pulled the book from shelves.
They pulled the book because people are angry. I feel like they saw it, they go, you know what, this is cool. Let's distribute it.
Yeah, it just shows them like happily baking the cake in the kitchen.
I loved children's books when I was a kid. You get it, and it's all big, and you open it, and the picture's all big, and it smells all good, and the pages are all crisp.
Or sometimes they're like cardboard pages.
Oh yeah, it's just stiff like that.
You know, people that were angry about this book, they're saying it's like Anne and Otto Frank baking cookies for Adolf Hitler on Christmas. That's what they're comparing this story to.
How can someone teach a complicated subject like this to someone, let's say, like Isaac's age?
I think my issue is like, well, if I saw this book, you know, I give it to my kid, he's like 4 or 5 years old, and the picture is this slave baker with burned hands and tears on his face, you know, and it's like,
You're not gonna show
to be
him.
able to divulge that information how I want to my kids, you know. So like, I like the message of this book, but I'll tell my kids like, yo, so what this book is talking about, how unfair it was. So I don't think a kid's gonna look at like, oh, slaves were happy.
Yeah.
I don't think kids are gonna do that at all. And you know, this is just once again one of those things where everybody nowadays on social media has a fucking voice, and not everybody should have a fucking voice. In my not in that kind of sense, but I don't think so. Shit, you know, like everybody is upset over everything, and I just, you know, fuck your fucking feelings, dude. Like it's just sometimes you just complain too much.
That's what I think too. To me, it's like if you go to a bookstore, you see this book, and you disagree with it, then just don't buy it. There's no need to complain or anything like that.
Hercules was Washington's chef, but like in the history books, they're saying that George Washington treated him very badly, and Hercules actually even escaped from George Washington because he had him do so much like hard labor and stuff. So they're just saying like to depict him as like a happy chef, like baking him a cake, is historically incorrect.
But that's also getting mad at all the Disney movies for twisting all the actual stories around too.
Yeah,
But those are fairy tales, so maybe that's different.
I think depending on the medium, it's like if you're trying to, if your target demographic
Well, I guess it kind of is. It's folklore.
are kids, then the medium suits that. So you don't want to show like graphic images to a kid because that's probably way more traumatizing than what actually went on.
Yeah, are they expecting, like, we need to see some real shit. Let's have George Washington rape some fucking slaves, and that's real shit.
Yeah, then why don't we go ahead and go back and the way we teach fucking Columbus Day. Let's stop having these fucking kids put their hand on a piece of fucking paper making a turkey. Let's talk about Christopher Columbus where he fucking raped and pillaged and shot people to death, gutted people out for fun. Let's do that for kids too then. Like, you're being fucking dumb.
What the author was trying to do is teach a very complex subject, but in a cute way.
Yeah, and to a child's medium.
Yeah.
So at what age do you think would be appropriate to teach that type of...
No, you can't teach them through this book, you know? But the parent will explain. It's already explained there. Like, yo, he will never taste freedom. You know, it's in there. It's in the book. They're having an issue with the guy smiling.
And that's subjective too. Because if I was a parent and the kid asked me, Daddy, why is he happy if he's not gonna be free? And I'll be like, well, sometimes they have to pretend, or you know, sometimes people can still be happy when they're trapped. But it's like it's up to them to feel happy, or like, you know, I'll figure out something to say, but it's not that they're happy because they're slaves. Some people know how to cope and be resilient no matter what their situation is. So it could be interpreted in so many different ways. And the people that see that, they're interpreting it as they're still happy being slaves. They're not. No one's happy being a slave. They're just trying to make the best out of the situation.
Hello, lovely people. I hope you enjoyed that episode of Just Kidding News. If you guys have some really cool, crazy, scary, sad news articles that you guys would like to submit, go ahead, visit the description box below to submit any articles that you like. And to continue the laughs and the craziness that we do here at JK News, go ahead and click right over here.
Into my head, you know, I see my house just got jacked. I'm like, somebody gotta die.
That's like if I came over and I fucking ate your grandma because I was hungry.
Oh.
Not in a sexual way, but I fucking...
Oh my god!
We weren't even thinking that. You made it.
But thanks for clearing the air.
Yeah, but they're like, oh, he must have been hungry. He's not a serial killer, he's just poor.